Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Film School. Thanks for joining me on this lovely Sunday afternoon. Please let me know if you are here watching, where you're watching from. Let me know in the chat. So today we're going to be talking about taking film crew skills, all the things you've learned on a set, and trying to translate them into the regular jobs. Now, the reason why we're doing this, or why I'm discussing this topic, is because the strikes. Obviously, the strikes have been going on for way too long. The strikes are going on way longer than expected. Some people thought we'd definitely be back to work right now. Some now are saying that we're going to be back to work next year. I don't really like that estimate. I don't like the fact that people are saying next year. So this leads to this subject of that we're talking about today, is getting regular jobs. And regular jobs because obviously film jobs for me, working in film, is like a really fun job. I like what I do. It's really great. I love it. But also, when you compare it to like the 9 to 5 or working in the office, it beats it day in, day out. Any day I will take a position on set, a day on set, any day. So we're trying to get those skills to translate as much as we can to regular jobs, because now what's happening is that people are getting those temporary jobs, because right now what's happening is that unemployment is running out. Unemployment only usually, I think most states give about 6 months of unemployment. Even before the strikes were happening, May 2nd was the start of the writer's strike, and then July 13th was when SAG went on strike, the actors went on strike. Now, before that, the work was massively slowing down. So, as I've said in previous videos about the actor strike, about the writer's strike, in those videos I mentioned how the work has drastically slowed down like molasses. Okay, so the work was definitely dwindling the closer we got to May, even before the strikes were happening, because people were anticipating the strikes happening and were preparing for a work stoppage. So that wasn't helping anybody, right? Because I remember conversations now, I'm sure you know that, like, if you've reached me on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like, I've gotten loads of questions where, hey, is it slow in New York? It's slow in Vancouver. Is it slow in Atlanta? Is it, like, I've had people from all over the US, some people in Canada, and even now in the UK, obviously that, you know, the UK film industry has been affected as well. So everyone around the world is like, is it as slow as it is for me? And it is. And that was like in March. That was in April. So we're talking about people being out of work for a long time. Now, it's September 17th today, and people definitely haven't worked since like last October. We're coming up on a year where people have been unemployed. So they are stepping out of the film industry because they need to pay their bills, they need to pay their mortgage, they need to like make a living. Obviously, they can't just like wait around, and plus their unemployment has like run down. And I will say that unemployment for me, I have like maybe like 3 weeks left. So yes, I have Beyond Film School, but like obviously, you know, the ADing is my bread and butter. And if I'm not working on set, then it's kind of like, oh my God. So we're going to try and take those skills and translate them into getting like the real jobs that maybe you don't really like, but knowing that the skills that you've gotten on a film set are super versatile and super useful in a lot of other jobs. And hopefully we can try and put it into that corporate speak, because what you put on a film resume, what you describe your job as, like, people are not going to understand what the hell a gaffer is. Like, people don't know what that means in the regular world outside of film. Some of the things we're going to cover today is turning those film position titles into, you know, corporate speak or regular world type of titles. Then we're going to talk about your resume, things that are going to change, because a film resume is not like a regular real world, regular job type resume, corporate or whatever, right? And then we're going to talk about some of your soft skills, because I'm telling you right now, soft skills are where it's at. And people will debate me on this, but soft skills are definitely where it's at, especially if you're trying to make a career change and you're trying to transition from being in film for years and years and years, and then you're like, oh crap, now I have to jump into another industry. So soft skills. Now, you might be asking, soft skills versus hard skills. Hard skills are like, you know, if you're learning SEO or you're learning graphic design, those are like those hard skills where it is very tailored to a particular job. Soft skills are universal. You can take them from job to job, and soft skills are really what is a big selling point for when you're trying to change careers and you jump into a different industry, because they are universal, like leadership, communication, stuff like that. Those are things that you can use in every job. Now, as always, with my live streams, please ask questions, because I am here for you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to answer your questions. And I really, if I can answer any type of personal questions that are tailored to you, I'm happy to do that. So we're just going to jump into the film positions. Now, I kind of break this down, and some are like, very, very focused. Some are just kind of like department focused, but I do have some. And if you are a certain position, and we're going to try and break it down, we're going to help each other. So we're going to help each other trying to figure out, like, if you have a certain film position, I don't cover all of them, but I cover a bunch of them. And we're going to try and break it down into like what else you would call it. Because, you know, first AD, no one knows what that is outside of film. Like no one knows what that is. Okay. So we're definitely going to get into the film position names. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to cover is assistant directors. Now, assistant directors are people who are dealing with logistics, scheduling, and planning. So logistics, like event planning, is another thing you can get into, because you are planning. I think of it as like, if you're an AD, you are event planning every single day. So each day on set, to me, in my head, is like an event, right? So you are getting all the pieces you need, whether it's props, costumes, you're like taking all the pieces and you're making sure it's there on the day and it's ready, right? So logistics, scheduling, plan, like first AD, scheduling manager, right? Second AD, that's like logistics manager, event planning. So those things are definitely tailored to ADs. And I mean, ADs, I believe a friend of mine, he got his resume like revamped from like a resume specialist, and they were calling him a consultant, which you really could. Like if you're really trying to plan anything, ask an AD to plan it for you, because I can plan a vacation like nobody's business. I can plan a birthday party, like I can really plan anything when it comes to any type of event. I can plan it. So planning, logistics, and scheduling, that is your bread and butter as an assistant director. Okay, so just moving on to PAs. Now, if you're a set PA, you're assisting, right? And especially if you're like a first team PA, the ones who are dealing with cast, and if you're dealing with background, like if you're a background PA, you are really good at crowd control. You are really good at public speaking. So you can put those in your description when you're doing your resume. Customer service is big. Anyone who works in the production department, AD, set PAs, you know, producers, assistants, you guys are super good at customer service, because you're dealing with a lot of personalities, a lot of people, and you are trying to find certain answers, like solving certain problems that are not going to make anyone mad or ruffle any feathers. So you're like fairly diplomatic. So assisting, any type of assisting job, customer service, hospitality, set PAs, you guys definitely have it. And a friend of mine who also is Beyond Film School alum, she right now is working as a hotel manager. So that tells me like she definitely is like producer, UPM type, and she's also been a first team PA many, many times. So she's got hospitality on lock. Like she definitely has that customer service. She can deal with any type of person. So definitely if you are in this realm of like PA's production, customer service definitely is something that you can go into smoothly. So another one, UPM. So UPM is a unit production manager or production manager. You're an operations manager. You are project management, basically. You are a project manager. So you are taking like the big scope, and you can figure out vendors, you know those relationships with people. So a UPM, you're an operations manager. And also, I mean, you can really get into logistics and budgeting as well. So those are like a project manager, UPM, that is like so seamless, it's not even funny. So if you have project manager, UPM, like don't try to use your acronyms on your resume, because people don't understand what those things mean. GRIP. So if you're a GRIP, maybe you're just starting out or whatever, you definitely are really good with anything construction or maintenance. GRIPs are really good at just figuring stuff out and how to make things work. So I think those things are definitely right up the GRIP department, like what they're doing, 100%. Construction and maintenance, like if you need to figure anything out, calling a GRIP is like what you do. So an office PA, I would say a receptionist is like the closest equivalent for an office PA, because you're in the office, you have, I mean, again, a customer service comes into this one as well. Okay, so you're a receptionist, you're answering phones, you're greeting people in the office, you have that like happy, warm, smiling face, even if, you know, you don't want to be happy and smiley. Now, locations, this one was really hard for me, because locations, they do a lot of different stuff. They do a lot of different things, right? And I was like, oh, well, you think like locations, you would think like real estate, like you could. I think that might be a cool transition for you if you wanted to get into real estate or become a real estate agent. That might be something that could be for locations, because it's like you would think that is something like, okay, locations dealing with like places of business and stuff like that, that would easily translate into being a real estate agent. It could, right? But also hospitality, customer service, and sales. Because I feel like with people who work in locations, you really have to be able to not schmooze or I guess negotiate or make sure you're smoothed over with the owner. Like you want to make sure they understand what's going on. You're very good at communication skills. You deal with difficult personalities, probably more so than the average crew member, I would say, because dealing with people who own the properties that we're shooting in is very hard. And I will stand by this. People who work in locations, it is the hardest job on set. People think it's ADs and Teamsters. I like to say that locations, that is the toughest department because you're dealing with the property owners or the people who are representing the property that we are shooting in. So negotiation, sales, hospitality, customer service, any type of those things, like I would say like, and it's kind of hard to put that into like a position, but people who are locations manager, you can definitely just put that and then you can definitely, people are like, oh, manager. Manager is going to stick out. Assistant, locations manager. But these here, the hospitality, customer service, and sales negotiations, you can put those bullet points underneath the description, like 100%. And people are going to like, those are things that people are going to automatically understand. Okay, so if you're a walkie PA, I think right away you should be calling yourself an equipment manager. I'm sorry, you are doing inventory. You are making sure that everyone has that piece of equipment, just that walkie. You're making sure that people are taking care of it. You are switching out, problem solving. So you are definitely an equipment manager. Now that may seem kind of crazy, but it is, for me, that makes sense. You're an equipment manager, 100%. Okay, if you are a best boy or a best girl. Now, best boy, just to explain what a best boy and best girl are, it's like best boy electric, best boy grip. It's usually the second in command. So your gaffer or your oh yeah, I would say like, your key grip. Yeah, key grip's so your gaffer and your key grip are the top of those two departments, right? So your best boy or best girl are like the second in command. You're a supervisor. You are doing a lot of admin work. You are doing a lot of hiring. You're doing a lot of the stuff that is like second in command type things. You're a supervisor. If anything, you can even call yourself a manager as well. So, you're handling a lot of stuff and sometimes you're not on set as much, but you're doing a lot of like, you're handling the team, you're managing the team, you're hiring, you're firing sometimes. So, and you're also making sure people are getting paid. People are like, there's a lot of things that go into being a best boy or a best girl. And it's definitely supervisor for sure. I'm gonna go to the chat. Let's see. Evie, my husband is a props master, buyer, acquisitions. He makes a lot of stuff too. Is super handy. What would be some good titles? Okay, so props master. This was a difficult one, Evie. So props master. So I think with that one, and I had someone talk about this the other day about being props master, because it's like you're acquiring. I think acquisitions is a really good one, acquisitions manager, because you always have to collect certain things to be used. And I think acquisitions definitely, maybe some people would not really understand a buyer. I think when you say a buyer, that might mean finance for some people. So maybe not so much a buyer, but inventory or acquisitions, inventory. Also, like, I know with being a props manager, like you have to deal with inventory and you can't really say equipment, but it is, if you think about it, props is actually equipment. So I don't know if that helps as far as like prop master, but also you can definitely call yourself an acquisitions manager if you think about it, or creative acquisitions manager. I think would be a good one, because not only are you acquiring certain items to be used on set, but you are, kind of inventory those things and you're reusing them whenever possible, right? And I think creative inventory acquisitions, I think that's a really nice title. Like people are like, what is that? And they'll ask you about it, right? So I think that's a good title. Props people are kind of salty, so not sure about schmoothing. Yeah, exactly. No. Okay, so George, I was an overnight customer service manager a few years ago for a company. Best boy, best girl, best. If you are best boy, best girl, you're definitely 100% supervisor, and you have those leadership skills. Like, that's something I do want to touch upon when we get to more of the soft skills, is if you're in a leadership role, and there are so many different leadership roles that are on set that involve leadership, and they're in different, hierarchy. So even PAs have leadership things like, you know, a key PA, definitely leadership position. First team runner, base camp PA, those are leadership positions. Even though you think you're at the bottom of the barrel, you're still utilizing those leadership skills. So if you are a department head, you are 100% a manager. You are dealing with inventory going in and out. You are hiring, firing, you are staffing certain positions. So you are a manager. So you're top of the chain, you are head of the department. And you could actually probably call yourself a department head because I feel like maybe people would definitely understand what a department head is. They may not, but I think maybe, but you are a manager. You are a manager. You are running that whole department. You are a manager for that department. So if you're a department head, for sure, like gaffer, key grip, you know, headset dresser, you are a manager 100%. Like, don't be afraid to throw these supervisor or manager positions around because you are definitely like, you have to use these words because if you think about like a manager of a hotel or a manager of any type of cafe or a manager of a store, they're basically doing the same things. It's just like the items that they're controlling are a little bit different. I mean, also with people as well, like you're managing people and you're managing a team. And that's the biggest thing about it. You're managing a team and a whole department. So key PA is a really good one because there's a lot going on with key PA. And if you're a key PA, you're a supervisor, you're a hiring supervisor, you're a new employee trainer. There is so much happening with the key PA that you could be saying that you are. So if you are a key PA and you're like, what do I call myself that people would understand? Like you are maybe like a new hire supervisor because you are hiring all these new additional PAs. So that's definitely something that you could put on your resume. Now, craft service, I think this is kind of a given. Food service, customer service, food preparation. You know, you can even get fancy with it. And maybe if you wanted to say like, food display artist. Some people do that because if they're really good at it and they have like, you can actually take pictures of like how you set up your crafty. Some people are really good at displaying their crafty. Some aren't, some are better than others, but I will say that there's a certain art that can go into craft service, but also there's like inventory and you know, there's a lot of things that if you're like the key craft service person versus someone who's just working in crafty, you can add a little bit of those leadership elements into it. So another one, okay. Camera was a really hard one. So if anyone works in camera, let me know and we can work this out together. Because maybe, now I definitely worked in camera and I've worked with a lot of different camera people. And this was a hard one because I feel like with sound and camera, those are very particular hard skill sets that aren't really translatable to like any job, right? So if you're in camera or in sound, you can work in the corporate world. You can, you know, work in like some people who have big YouTube channels who are hiring big staffs or whatever, and advertising again, like those types of fields you can work in if you're a sound and camera, but they're harder because it's like if you're a boom operator, you're recording sound. It's a very particular job, right? So not all film positions are going to be translatable, and that is kind of also if you are a boom operator, you could say a sound recordist or recording, like or sound recorder or whatever. You can probably say that to simplify. Whatever your position is, you have to make sure that you're simplifying so the outsiders understand. And that I feel like we're talking about like a subset of humans that just don't understand our world, which actually, if you think about it, if they're not in the film world, they don't have any idea what happens in our world, right? So I feel kind of bad, but also like it's what it is. So if you're in camera and sound, it is a little bit harder. So first AC, I would say that you are a supervisor, right? Second AC is you're a data supervisor, file organization. If you are a person who is doing DIT, you're quality control manager. That makes sense to me. If you're a loader, you're a file management organization, equipment manager. You're, you know, also you can say like staff support, team support, stuff like that. So camera and sound is really hard. You have to kind of like dig a little deeper if you're in these departments, but because they're so particular. Okay, so I want to get into a little bit of how your film resume is gonna look more like corporate regular job resume. And I wanna talk about dates. Now, if you've ever done any of my resume reviews or you have watched my resume videos, I talk a lot about dates and I talk about them in the way of not having them on your resume. Well, in the regular world, that doesn't fly. It doesn't go down very nicely. A lot of people want to know how long you worked at a place and if there are any gaps of employment you need to explain. So What I will say about dates is you will not go gig by gig, meaning like, oh, I worked on this HBO show for 6 months and I was off for 2 months and I was working on this music video and then I did this short and then I did a feature, and there's like gaps in between those dates. So you want to make sure that you do not put each gig. So say for example, me, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm an assistant director. I've been assistant director in the DGA, and I wouldn't even mention the DGA. I'd put it like at the bottom where it's certifications or whatever. But if I were to create a resume trying to get into some other job, I would say I was logistics manager for, 5 years. Or let's say I got into, if I'm really being honest, I was assistant director starting in 2015 till now, right? And I take the whole span of how long I've been an AD. Not like, okay, well, I was an AD for this feature and then I was a second AD. I would just take all encompassing, like I was assistant director, and I give it that fancy name that we just talked about, for this many years. Because then I'm thinking about it like, how you are applying for unemployment and you use your payroll company, not like HBO, you are using entertainment partners, because a lot of people are paid through entertainment partners or Green Slate or whatever. Like you would use that as like the main company that you've worked for that many years, right? So I would just say like I was an assistant director for 7 years, like, I think it was May 2015 till present, or till like, I guess I would have to say till April, because I wasn't really that job anymore because I haven't worked for like 4 months. So you would not put like each gig, you would actually just put like from this time to this time to kind of not show those weird gaps of employment. Again, I'm not saying you're not lying because you were that position for that long, right? And it's not like you are, you're not making a fraudulent resume, but some people definitely fucking, they are making up some things on their resume to get that job. Do what you gotta do. That's all I'm gonna say. So the other thing I'm gonna talk about is description. Now, on a regular film resume, you're not really going to describe all the things you've done, especially if you have loads of experience. You're just going to put like your position, first AD, feature film, HBO. You know what I mean? Now, you're not going into like, oh, I made call sheets and I ran the set and I scheduled the shoot and all this stuff. You don't usually do that on a film resume. But for corporate regular resumes, you need about up to 3 bullets of descriptions. Now, in the descriptions, you need to talk about results. What have you done? Now, it's not like I scheduled shoots for blah, blah, blah. Now, remember, you have to stay away from words that outsiders do not understand. So you have to kind of, I want to say elaborate, but you need to dig deep into making sure that they understand what you're saying. And you have to paint a picture of the things that you were able to do in that position. Like results means what were you able to accomplish? So if you are a background costumer, you created or put together styles for 300 plus people in like, any given day. Now, if you want to take the span of the project, you can say for 1 month, I created this many styles for this, right? Or if you're thinking like budget wise, like I worked for a $5.5 million company to create this thing. Like they want to see numbers, they want to see budgets. Now, if you are working on those majors, now a major is something that's $15 million or more in the high tier of movies and television, you're working in majors, then that's like when you brag about those big number budgets, people love seeing that stuff. Hiring managers love seeing that stuff. Headhunters, recruiters, they love seeing like the results, like you worked for this big money. You were able to manage, certain budgets and stuff like that, or you worked for this thing that had a lot of money attached to it. Now, I do say brag here for a reason because these are the things you have to do. You have to brag like, what did you accomplish? What did you do? What kind of numbers were you dealing with, right? So if you are say, for example, a key PA. You managed a team of 50 PAs or something like that. Or maybe if you were a best boy or a best girl, you're like managed a team of 15. It could be managed equipment worth $50,000 to $100,000 if you're a camera person, or like the walkie PA, like if they took the receipt from the walkies, the inventory, and they usually have them because you have to count how much you're going to get at the jump of the job, like at the start of the job. It'll say like each walkie is worth like $600. 100 walkies versus, $600. It's a lot of money. So you're managing equipment upwards of $100,000 or whatever it is. So numbers, amounts of money, budgets, results, what did you do? How many people did you manage? In your description, you want to add all these things because those are your bragging rights. People want to see what you are able to handle. Not so much your description of like what you did. It's about like what you accomplished. And I think sometimes with resumes, people get really caught up in like, oh, I have to describe what I do. Well, talk about your results to grab people in, and then when they want to interview you, then you can talk about like, oh, I did this, and then they can ask you those certain questions like, hey, tell me about how you did manage 15 people. Sometimes it doesn't really matter about like the nitty gritty about exactly what your job was. They want to know the things that you accomplished in that job. Okay, soft skills. We're going to get into soft skills, but soft skills, oh my goodness, talk about your soft skills. And I mentioned this a little bit. Your soft skills are going to be the thing that is going to sell you. Like I said, when you are changing from a career into another career, you're changing careers, soft skills are going to be the thing that translate from each job to the other, right? Universal soft skills. Again, hard skills are going to be those like very particular to a certain job, and then soft skills are more universal, where you can take from job to job. Like communication, leadership, time management, all those things, your soft skills, you need to have a section on your resume. Now, you sometimes will not have this. If you have a lot of experience in the film industry, you're not going to usually have a soft skills section because you just want to lay out all your experience. And that's fine because that's the film resume. But when you talk about changing careers and going into that corporate resume or a regular resume, your soft skills are what needs to pop out. So make sure there's a section nice and organized, nice bullet points. You need to have these words like pop out from the screen because they want to see these things like pop out. You need to have those eye-catching things. Soft skills, definitely make sure you add those to your resume in some type of section. Some people put them at the top. Some people, I'm a real big fan of like resumes that are columned out, like 2 columns. And you have like one where it's, you have like, oh, your description of jobs, or like your results, you talk about your job and what you accomplished there, and the other side is like, your information, you got some skills there on the side, and maybe your education on that side too. So soft skills, make sure there's a section for that. Also, 1 page only. I need you guys to follow this regular resume advice. Now, a lot of people like to, I don't know, they fill the page and they're like, oh, I have so many jobs, I have so many things to say, and they go on to like 2-3 pages. No one is going to get past that 1 page. Even in the corporate world, no one hiring who needs to look through 100 resumes, no one is going to do anything past 1 page, guys. So make sure it is 1 page only. I say this in all my resume reviews, my videos, even on my website for the resume tips. Like, there's gonna have to be just 1 page. Trust me on this. Organize your resume in a way, get it down to 1 page. Okay, trim the fat, trim out the fluff, 1 page only. And that's just like basic resume stuff. Make it easy to read, quick to read, make it pretty. Okay, I know there's gonna be a lot more things on it and it might look a little bit more, gosh, stay away from the essay type when there's too many words on there. Be concise, make it easy to read. Remember, you want to put your personality on the page and you want them to absorb it as quickly as possible for them to decide whether they want to interview you or not, or have you join the team, okay? So easy to read, quick to read, and make it pretty. Now, I put this last I probably should have put it first, but your position that we talked about in the beginning where we're talking about the new position name, make sure you put that first. Because you're not going to write, entertainment partners, using your payroll company. I was in this position here. You want to make sure you're putting your position first, foremost, bolded, highlighted, whatever it is, you want to make sure that is first. Remember, your resume is about you. And I preach this over and over and over again for a reason. It's not about the company you work for. It's about you and what you accomplished in certain positions. So after this, we're definitely going to get into some top soft skills all crew have. All film crew have this. If you've worked on a film set, you've acquired the skill. The number 1 soft skill that everyone has in film. Like, you guys know what it is. Communication. Communication is the lifeblood of a film set. If you don't know how to communicate, you will not last very long on a film set. So if you've had a long career on a film set, you will definitely have great communication skills, or you've at least gone through the trial and error of getting there to be a better communicator. So communication is one of those things. And some people do not have these skills, but people who work in film 100% have communication skills. Time management. Now, we all know everything in film is a we need it now situation, or something has changed in the schedule and now we need it faster. absolutely true. Everyone who works in film has some type of time management skills. Even like the key PA who's trying to book people for tomorrow or next week or whatever it is, or those props that are needed. Or maybe it's that loader that definitely knows they have to recharge those batteries by a certain time to make sure that the certain cameras are being used at a certain time are, you know, ready to go. Time management is, I think, not a lot of people think about this, but it's definitely always a part of our being. We may not think about it that we have it, but we definitely do have it because it's just like part of, we need everything right now all the time. So I think that is something not to forget about. Adaptability. Now, I love this one, and a lot of people, I think maybe they take this one for granted or just don't realize it, just like time management, because adaptability is huge for our skills for people who are working in film, because let's just look at it. Like, you go from the stage, which is your familiar in-house thing. Everyone loves the stage. It's familiar, but you're always going out on location. And sometimes some movies don't even have a stage. They're always on location. So every day or every couple of days, it's a new location. There's a new spot. There's a new base camp. There's something new that you have to discover and figure out, right? Or learn the layout. So this goes for every department. Adaptability is 100% going to be one of those top soft skills, because you are flexible, you are going with the flow, you are figuring it out on the day, you're being put into a new situation every single day. Also, adaptability on a time kind of like level, because you're not always going to be working 9 to 5. You're not always going to be having the same schedule. You could start at 5 a.m. one day, and then by the end of the week, you're starting at 5 p.m. So we adapt to the different schedule that we have throughout the week, and not only throughout the week, but throughout the month. Like, you could be on splits where you're starting at noon or 1 p.m. for a couple weeks, and then you switch over to overnights, or then you switch back to 7 a.m. So, and also adaptability to, like, maybe you have shorter days, maybe you have longer days, maybe you are going into 12, 14, maybe you're going back to 10. So we adapt so quickly that we don't even realize adaptability is one of our skills. So being adaptable / flexible is such a strength of people who are working in film. So teamwork. I hate seeing this on a resume because I don't know why. People who are like, oh, team player or whatever, but teamwork is a big one for everyone who works in film, because here's the thing, is that filmmaking is the ultimate team sport, and that is a quote from, I think, Michael Keaton, but it is true. Collaboration is the key to filmmaking. You can't make a movie that is, you know, big budget, multi-million-dollar blockbuster without hundreds of people and without hundreds of disciplines. So filmmaking really is the ultimate team sport. I believe this. I believe that quote, Michael Keaton, I believe it. But teamwork is definitely something that is, a lot of people can't work with teams. But people who work in film, we've learned, whether hell or high water, trial and error, we've learned how to work in that team because we all love filmmaking. We all want to be there, especially if we've all had long careers in it. So teamwork is definitely something that is ingrained in people who are working in film. Whether we like the person or not, we know we have to work with whoever's on our team to make it work, right? So teamwork, absolutely. I feel like problem solving is a given. Now, any person who works in film, production, grip, electric, props, camera, everyone, or locations, everyone who is in any department in film has this skill. They all have it. Problem solving is like number one. Why? Because we don't have enough money, we don't have enough time. Okay, so we always are trying to figure out something to solve the problem of the moment all the time. Whether it's an actor got sick, what do? We have to rearrange schedule. Okay, so this car broke down, what do we do? How do we figure this out? We get like another van or whatever, another driver, or whatever the case may be. There's so many things that go wrong on a film set that problem solving is ingrained, right? And also, if we want to do something, a certain shot or a certain angle or a certain stunt, and we may not have that special gizmo that's, new and upcoming and out and trendy, we figure out how to make it happen with what we have, right? Especially my indie filmmakers out there, and also for people who are big budget that maybe that special equipment just didn't come in that day. Maybe something happened with like the truck, the swing truck that broke down, didn't get there on set on time, right? So we are figuring out how to make certain things happen creatively like so many different ways. And we really have that extra thing that we're like, oh, we're able to figure it out. No problem. Like we will sit there and we'll think about this problem and we're like, okay, I've got it. Let's try this. And it's all about trying to make it happen because we're trying to achieve a certain vision. We're all pushing toward the same goal of like making this thing happen, right? So problem solving is something that I feel like ingrained, especially with ADs or in like any really department anyway, like props, people, costumes, like we figure out how to make it work. And I do love this comment I got from Light Bulb Rentals. And if you need some equipment for whatever your indie needs are, please check out Light Bulb. I love them. I work with them. They sponsored the film challenge for me, but they added this. They're like they definitely support this whole problem solving. Like we are people who are able to just figure anything out. Whatever it is, we can figure it out. And I love that about us. So crisis management. Now this goes into the problem solving, but there are so many things that go wrong. And it's like we're able to problem solve quickly. We're able to adapt quickly. We're able to kind of switch gears very quickly. And whether it's, I don't want to say like crisis management is like someone getting injured or something like that. Yes, that is something that we deal with. But when everything just goes wrong and everything is chaotic, we're able to just kind of like push forward and progress. So crisis management is also a soft skill that we are able to deal with. Like, what do you do when, the actor just says, okay, I'm going home now. And like, you just like, what? Everyone has to kind of just go and just push forward with what is ever happening, like responding to the situation, figuring out how to get what we need to get. So leadership, of course, if you are in those positions where you are hiring people, you're managing a team, you are training anybody, even when you've been a green PA first day on set and you're like, okay, I've been a green PA for a couple of weeks, and like a month later, you're no longer the green PA, and now there's another green PA, and now you're like helping them and you're training them. You're training like, hey, I learned this last week and this is how you can lock up the street better, and then you're like helping other people. So, and even when you're like that grip that's just starting out and then you learn a little bit, it's like just after a few weeks, you can actually start helping others and you are now that leader. So it happens at all levels. Like it's very rare for like you're at the bottom of the barrel for a long time. That doesn't really happen that way. So I think it's all about like as you grow, you definitely have acquired some type of leadership skills. Okay, let's see. Now, customer service, we are working with so many people on a set. Like I said, teamwork, it takes a lot of disciplines, a lot of people to make film happen, to make an episode of TV happen. Now, customer service, dealing with all the personalities, that is exactly what happens on a film set. You are trying to convey your idea, you're trying to articulate, you're trying to achieve whatever you need to achieve, but also you are progressing without making people upset. You're trying to understand, there are some people who are like mediating and trying to make sure that people are understanding what is needing to be done versus what was said, and there's like interpreting. So there's a lot of customer service involved in filmmaking. You are dealing with a ton of personalities. It's not like this like type of position where you are like sitting there remote working and you're just on a computer, where you're dealing with maybe like 5 or 6 people in an office every single day, the same types of people. And this goes back to adaptability, where when you are on a film set, you are working with a ton of different people and new people day by day, because you have day players, you have additional people that are coming in for the first time that you've never met before. So there are a ton of people that you're dealing with, new people, old people. I guess old people in the way like you've been working with them for a couple months, but customer service goes super long way. And a lot of people take this for granted as well. If you are dealing with multiple personalities on any given day, multiple personalities sounds different. So that sounds kind of funny actually. But if you're dealing with multiple different types of people any given day, you have customer service, especially if you're able to kind of get the best out of people. Like you know how to handle someone who's disgruntled or someone who's cranky, or maybe someone who's got too much energy. Maybe you know how to deal with people's the ins and outs of people and how to get the best out of them. Customer service, you definitely have it. I think I have one more training. So like I said, with leadership, you're training people, and it happens at all levels, whether it's, you know, that key PA train that new additional day player PA, whether it's the second AD training the second AD, or whether it is, you know, that like props master, you know, training that very new person that was a PA and just got into props. They are training that new person. Training is a huge thing that, you know, we've shown so many people the ropes that you definitely are someone who is well-versed in training new employees. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you have any ideas, if you need any resources, please let me know. If, again, my set PA courses are out there. And thank you guys so much for watching. I shall see you guys next time.